Ready? I want to show you something that we're going to use throughout the chapter, and we'll review um, throughout the rest of the year too. So this may be a new topic for you, maybe an old one. I'm not sure. Let's just see how it goes. It's called solving a system of equations. This is called a system of equations, and what this is the graphs of two lines, not in y equal mx b form, but we'll talk about that in just a second. Three methods I want to show you are graphing, substitution, and elimination in that order. Here's the first one. This is the graphing example. Notice I have a great big XY axis here, and I have the same system of equations. Okay, I'm going to take that system. I'm going to take each of these lines, x equals 11 plus y, and 2x plus y equals 19. I'm going to take both of them. I'm going to put them in slope-intercept form because I think it's easier to plot when it's in slope-intercept form. Minus 11, minus 11. X minus 11 is equal to y. I'm going to spin that around. Y equals x minus 11. And from this, you can tell what the slope is, and you can tell what the y-intercept is, and then you can graph it. Okay, the slope is the number next to the x, which is 1. The y-intercept is whatever doesn't have a letter next to it, which is negative 11. Let's go ahead and graph that line. Okay, so negative 11, let me slide up here. Negative 11 is right here. My slope is 1, remember, so I go up 1 over 1, and right on that 10, unfortunately, is my second dot. Okay, so let me go ahead and graph this now. Up a little bit. And there we go. All right. So now here's the second one. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. I get y equals negative 2x plus 19. Put it in slope-intercept form first. Slope is equal to negative 2. My y-intercept is equal to 19. Okay, so go all the way up here. Here's 19 right here, my y-intercept. My slope is negative 2, so I'm going to down 2 and then over 1, and then there's my second dot. Let's graph it. Okay, now what do we see? Well, we see that the graph crosses right about here. That point is 10, negative 1 right there. Okay, so the solution from graphing is where the lines cross. If they don't cross, no solution. If they cross, then that's the point that you have to figure out what it is. And it looks like it's about 10, negative 1. So that's graphing. Okay, here comes the other two. The second one is called substitution, which means you take one equation, you solve for a variable. Notice this equation is solved for x. X is by itself on one side. You take that equation, and instead of writing x in the other equation, I'm going to write that. Okay, so take a look. 2 times x plus y equals 19 is what our second equation is. Instead of writing x, I'm going to write 11 plus y. That's the substitution. Distribute. I'm going to solve it for y. I get 22 plus 2y plus y equals 19. Combine like terms. I get 22 plus 3y equals 19 minus 22 from both sides. 3y equals negative 3. Divide by 3. I get y equals negative 1. Okay, how do I figure out what x is? Well, if you look, we have two equations that involve x at the beginning. If I back substitute, this is called back substitution. Go back to the beginning is what the back stands for, and put in the negative 1 for y. I get x equals 10, and so I get the solution of 10, negative 1, which is the same thing that I got from graphing. Okay, here's the third and final one. It's called elimination. Now, elimination, you need to get things on the same side. Okay, so I usually put all the letters on the left and all the numbers on the right. So we're going to have to rework this first equation a little bit. X equals 11 plus y. I'm going to subtract y from both sides. I get x minus y equals 11. Same equation, just in a different form. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack these things. So I'm going to take x minus y equals 11. I'm going to take 2x plus y equals 19 and put them right on top of each other. Now, here's the deal. This is probably my favorite method once you get used to this. I need to do some mathematical operation where they add or subtract these two equations and get a variable to eliminate. That's why it's called the elimination method. Notice I have a negative y and a y here. If I just add these two things, look what happens. The y's go away. I get 3x equals 30. Divide by 3. I get x is equal to 10. Back substitute again. X equals 11 plus y. In for x, I'm going to put 10. Minus 11, minus 11. Negative 1 equals y. So I get the solution of 10, negative 1, which is the same thing I got for the other two solutions. Thanks for listening.